Hi, I'm Dave Worzel, and you're watching PHTV4 Spotlight. Today's Spotlight is on education, and specifically we're going to talk with Dr. Tim Baker, principal at Allenby Shepard High School in Palos Heights, to take a look at what education looks like and what things we might expect to see next year. So Dr. Baker, thank you for being here this morning.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And also congratulations. I know you're headed into your first year as principal here.
Yes, thank you very much.
And I'm imagining you're excited about it, but real quick, you've been in education for how long now?
This is my 23rd year.
It's a lot of years.
Yes, it is.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, I'm imagining that experience is going to take you, into a good place in this new position, right?
Yeah, I've taught, I've done a variety of different administrative positions, so hopefully that'll help benefit me in this new role.
Yeah, especially as a principal, the oversee quality of it certainly lends itself to that need. Maybe before we even talk about some of the things going on in education, you've been transitioning into this probably since the spring, I'm going to guess, or even fall last year. How's the transition been going? And I know there's a lot going on at Shepard right now. Yeah,
the transition's been great. Dr. Pollack, who previously held this position, has moved on to central office to be our executive director of STEM. And so she's been great all spring. Anytime there was a big decision that would affect the next school year, she's consulted with me on it. And she's done a great job with the transition.
Have her as a resource, I would think, is probably pretty critical. We were talking earlier, and I want to ask you about that. Have you already had to deal with some of yes, I'm expecting that, I wasn't expecting that situations yet?
Yeah, well, the biggest difference is that the decisions came up, and I've always been, an assistant or an associate, so my job was just to give advice, and the principal had to make the decision, and then the first couple times that came up, I'm like,
they're looking at you
I've
now.
got to make this decision, and so the guardrails are kind of off a little bit, but it's also very exciting.
Yeah, good. So let's turn specifically to education at large, maybe even nationally, but certainly state level or local. Are there certain trends or expectations, issues in education right now that you see impacting, especially the local community?
Yeah, so we're starting to see some of that COVID residue wear off. It's been several years now, so we're starting to get a little bit back to normal. We're hoping the next few graduation speeches won't be mentioning COVID as much as they used to, but we're still seeing an impact with attendance rates at schools. Students being chronically absent and chronically truant to school is kind of one of the bigger trends that we've been seeing.
So have those numbers, I'm hoping it's improved. I'm guessing it has. Are we back to pre-COVID yet, or is that not the case?
We're not quite there. So our attendance rate is still right around 90% at Shepard, which is very good. But pre-COVID, we were around 94% average daily attendance. So that's a number that we're striving to get back towards.
So I'm going to guess that's one of your goals for this year then, right?
Yeah, attendance is one of those goals. And oddly enough, NPR just put out an article recently that kind of said that parents don't even fully understand what that average attendance rate is, what chronic absenteeism is. So basically it's defined as missing 10% or more of the school year. Based on a 180-day school year, that's 18 days. So if you miss just 2 days a month of school, you're considered chronically absent. Or 1 day a month, you're considered chronically truant.
That has, I'm going to guess it has a ripple. As a teacher, I remember that each time a student misses a day, it generates makeup work, and the quality. They miss certain instruction that you can't recapture necessarily, or not the way it was in the classroom experience.
Right, and missing out on the classroom is vital to the educational process. Hearing that explanation from teachers, being able to get help and resources. What's a little bit nicer now versus, back when I was in the classroom is a lot of the assignments are online. So even though that student is home, ill, they can do the work online a lot of the time, as long as they don't have too many questions.
And I would imagine, I don't know the numbers, but off my head, the success rate of a student moving through high school increases quite a bit based on their attendance.
Absolutely. There's definitely a correlation between grades, graduation rate, and attendance rate.
Yeah. Any other issues or trends that you're facing or dealing with? I know that's a very immediate one up front.
Yeah, and then as always, we're working on our graduation rate, trying to graduate as many students in 4 years as we possibly can. And recently the state has had us start looking at our 9th grade on track numbers. So taking a look at freshmen at the end of their first year of high school, have they passed 5 classes, and have they no more than 1 F in a core area course. And that correlates very well to our graduation rate. So we're putting a lot of resources into our incoming freshmen to make sure they're successful.
And I don't expect you to know the exact number. How are those numbers compared to pre-COVID?
You know what, we didn't really track that too much pre-COVID, if I'm being honest. Right. So it's something that's recently come to the forefront in the state as part of how they evaluate schools. So,
I would imagine, you're going to be looking at it now going forward for sure.
Yes.
Then. Yeah. So That's the education side of the component. I know there's some construction work, or are other projects going on at Shepard? What's happening right now?
Yeah, so we're in phase one of a multi-year renovation at Shepard High School, starting with our theater. So they've begun construction, doing a lot of demo work. The school's very loud and dusty right now as they're tearing out our existing theater, and then they're going to keep the same footprint and then add on to that. We're going to add a balcony, add some more space, kind of give it a 21st century feel. So that's starting now, and then another year or two, they're going to begin construction on a field house where we'll add 3 additional gyms off of the north side of our building there. So very exciting things to come.
That's where the softball fields are, right?
Correct, right? So it'll kind of go out into that space between the softball field and the tennis courts.
Okay, all right. Is the softball, are they getting moved to a new location?
No,
It'll still work?
It'll still work,
Wow.
Yep.
That is a lot going on. Well, congratulations on getting a field house. It's a big plus.
Thanks. That's going to be a big game changer for us during the school day to give more space for our PE classes, and then after school. And then our school's used a lot by a lot of different community groups on the weekends and over breaks and things like that. So it's going to provide a lot more space for everyone. And
if I'm thinking, I don't know if I have the exact timeline here, but it sounds like something's been going on every year. I'm going, like recently you had the massive construction work, the new classrooms in the one wing, right?
Yeah, we added the science wing. That's probably about 10 years ago now, to be honest. That's the last time we did a significant renovation there at
So
Shepard.
this is the latest one. So that one, now this one, and then eventually the field. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck. It's exciting, but I know. And that's the other thing. High schools don't really shut down in the summer, do they?
No, we have classes going on all summer between driver's ed and summer school. We have camps all summer. So we're still a busy place. Not as busy as the school year.
A little bit of a circus atmosphere, but not like during the year.
Correct.
Okay. How about, are there any new curriculum changes going on specifically, like whether programs or classes, initiatives that directly impact teachers and kids in the room? So
nothing new on the curricular front this school year. We added a couple new AP courses last year, but we're just continuing to push students to choose a capstone class throughout their high school career, whether that is to take an advanced placement course, take a dual credit or dual enrollment class through our CTE classes, shop classes, things like that.
Okay. And then if I can, I'm going to kind of take you away from that for a second. Being a principal is a year-round gig, probably when you were an assistant principal. Were you assistant or associate principal before?
Yeah, assistant and an associate before.
So you've experienced that year-long calendar. What do you like best about your job or the jobs you've had? Maybe you can't qualify this one just yet.
The students and staff. I'm a people person. I get my energy from people. The summer is always the worst part for me because there's no one there. You know, it's scarce. We usually have 2,000 people in the building. Right now we have about maybe 200. And so I'm excited for August and get some energy back in the building.
I'm going to tell you personal, but I love that answer just because I know there are a lot of people who the thought of working with teenagers or being, trapped maybe with teenagers. But yeah, I agree. It's energizing, right? That kind of energy that hits in the building when everybody's present and things are going and activities in the classes and yeah, it's wonderful. So I know you're heading this first year and you're dealing with, you've obviously hit the ground running here. When you look at, yes, you're going to be principal now and maybe for a while yet. Are there certain things you want to accomplish that you want to be able to look back and say, yes, that's something I wanted to see happen and we did it?
Just creating a positive school climate. There's a ton of research and data out there that successful schools have a positive school climate. So I kind of see my job as making sure that the students and the staff are happy, and the staff are there working with the students in the classrooms every single day. They're taking care of those kids, and I see my job as taking care of those caretakers and making sure that the teachers have the resources they need so that they can help their students be as successful as possible. So that's the number one goal. There's always going to be things that pop up, like construction updates or things, but that's my main goal. I'd also love to see us win a state championship in something. So we're working on that between our activities and our athletics to see if we can bring home and fill a few of these trophy cases we have around school.
Again, both great goals. I would agree that culture is so critical to success. If people don't like being there, or they're miserable, or they're unhappy, or they're not energized, it's going to be hard for them to achieve at their best level.
Right.
Whether it's a classroom or an athletic program, for that matter.
Yes.
So saying that, it sounds like that's how you would like to inspire your staff, the people you work with, the students. How about for you? Where do you turn for inspiration?
It sounds cheesy, but the students. I mean, you get kids in here and they will amaze you with the things that they're able to do, the talents that they have, their personalities, their dreams and aspirations. It is so fun looking at these kids and rewinding back myself almost 30 years to what I was like in high school, and just the optimism they have. Their future's laid out ahead of them. They can choose to do anything, and they have great big aspirations. And so just kind of watching them evolve over those 4 years, and then seeing them at graduation and seeing them come back and telling us what they're up to, that's the most inspirational part of it. That's why you get into education. And so I would say there's 2 great days in education you got to get really excited about. One is freshman's first day, who are the new Astros, and then graduation, when we're hopefully putting these kids on a path to success and waiting for them to come back and tell us what they're up to.
Where they're headed in the world and the things they're going to accomplish or achieve.
Yes.
Yeah, I would agree with you. If you listen to them or pay attention to them, they can bring pearls to you, for sure. Yeah. Dr. Baker, thank you very much for coming in. Wish you the best, and I hope you keep getting that inspiration. It sounds like you've got a lot of it so far, and continue to get a lot more of it.
Yeah, me too. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
I'm Dave Wurzel, and you've been watching PHTV4 Spotlight on Education. Today's focus has been on an interview with Dr. Tim Baker from Allen B. Shepard High School. Thank you for watching.